Got to talk about
Just
the
hang out.
biggest. We got to talk about the biggest story that
Loki
happened this
Let
episode
week.
me
5.
blow my weed out here.
We're not talking about Loki episode
I know.
5.
Why did I watch it then?
I have
Do we
no
have anything
idea.
to watch
It
for
was
next
good.
week? Like, is anything out?
Tell us what happened in Loki episode 5, Jake. We're here. Go
You
through
know,
it.
I
Well,
have my joint in the screen and everything. Take it back, Jake.
Well, no, Jessica, do you plan on watching Loki at all?
Probably not.
All right, Jake, go ahead.
honestly, it's been pretty good. The first 2 episodes were like, we talked about the first 2 episodes. They're a little bit more set up-y than anything else. But like since then, it's kind of been steamrolling on pretty heavy. Like this
Well,
episode, what, Eric?
nothing. I was gonna say. I mean, this is not based on this last episode, but episode. What was the one from today?
Episode 5.
So episode 4. Everything that you and I talked about prior to that pretty much came true. It was like everyone is a variant, and everyone is.
Yeah,
And
because I'm a smart guy.
I didn't say you. I'm pretty sure I was the one who said that that Owen Wilson is gonna go against his own. Well, no, then yeah, we both kind of agreed to that.
I think we agreed on that point.
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
We pretty much had it nailed down before they
yeah.
did the whole big reveal.
But they had the post credit scene last episode with the multiple like Loki variants in like the Void world. Because like the episode ended properly with Hiddleston Loki getting zapped into the whatever, and a lot like previous to that, we assumed that all those people died. And it turns out like they just get sent into like this specific area at the end of time, essentially. Like the void, I think they call it. There's
So-
this big thing that eventually eats them up. Like there's a big giant thing that eventually does kill them. And he meets all the other Loki variants where you have like classic Loki, a Loki with a hammer, young Loki, an alligator Loki, which I thought they
That's
could
kinda
have done
cool.
more with. Yeah,
Is that
but, like,
from the comics? Alligator Loki?
I think it's a little bit of it's not. I don't think it's a Loki. I might be wrong about this. Someone might be in the comments telling me that like no, that's from the fucking comics. But like what I remember, I know that there is a frog Thor, so I think that they were doing a little bit of a nod to that by making an alligator like just kind of pointing out like yeah, we've done weird animal shit with
Right.
the Asgardian characters. I don't know if Frog Loki is like comic book canon.
I thought it was
but I know
kind of like
I know there's Frog Thor, and I think they call him Throg.
Okay.
But
I mean, Alligator Loki doesn't seem too crazy. There's the pig
no,
Spider-Man.
they kind of I kind of enjoy what they how they did it too, where it's like there's a moment where Hiddleston's character is like, that's a Loki, and they're like, yeah, and he's like, all right, whatever, and they just kind of move beyond it, and it's just accepted for like the episode.
Right. I mean, you thought they should explore it more. I feel like that's kind of
No, I agreed with that decision. I agreed with the decision just to be like, fuck it, alligator Loki. I thought that was good.
Did they?
But yeah, they fight like him. Sylvie ends up getting back there. Like her and Renslayer end up once again at odds. She kind of zaps herself there, which is like a real big gamble because even though Renslayer says that like, oh yeah, they actually get sent to another place, it turns out like that character is already anyway betraying her. So it's like that was at least from a character perspective, still a risk to just zap yourself. You might have just killed yourself essentially.
Right.
But her, Hiddleston Loki, and classic all of the Lokis I mentioned, I think besides the one with the hammer, they do team up. They fight the big cloud thing that like is what kills people at the end of the day when they get zapped. And classic Loki sacrifices himself. Them two team up together to like kind of enchant the big old terror cloud thing, and that's where the episode ends, is them like barely succeeding and walking into like what's probably going to be the reveal of like not just like it's going to be the reveal of the villain of Loki, like the behind the scenes person of like the TVA. But I agree with what I've been seeing on the internet, where it's probably also going to be the reveal, like the slow reveal of the next big
Avengers villain?
yeah. And I think Hiddleston Loki, I would bet that he sacrifices himself for Sylvie or female Loki to live, and she becomes like the next gen Loki.
That'd
I
be
think
bad
really-
fucking ass.
Because I don't know what Hiddleston's contract is.
I'm not a fan.
I
of
know a
Hiddleston.
lot of the old, like a lot of the people that like were big players at the start of the, basically all the main guys that led up to Endgame. A lot of their contracts are expiring or expired already, like in the case of Robert Downey Jr. So I don't know what his is off the top. Well, I think what they're saying is like, fuck it, we're introducing this multiple timeline shit no matter what. Let's dive into that with Hiddleston, because he's probably actually, just by virtue of not being a central character, cheaper to make a series with.
Right. I mean, I feel
like we'll introduce like a new person that could be like, we'll give them a lot of arc to bring out that character development, and they could be a big player going forward.
And that's interesting because I'm pretty sure that's the route they're going with Thor, right?
Yeah, there's gonna be they're doing female Thor as well.
So I guess.
Ooh, who's gonna rival Chris Hemsworth? Because that's a sexy motherfucker.
Well, no, I mean it goes to what's her name, right? The girlfriend.
They already have an actress.
But she's a little older to be starting her off. Is it not his girlfriend? Am I wrong?
I don't think so.
It's not
I don't think it's someone that's been on screen yet.
Oh, I thought it went to, well, I guess in the comics it does, but that's, I guess, assuming that's not where they're going with it.
In the comics, it's just Thor being a woman for that period of time.
I thought
kind of like there's a period where with like Marvel comics, with especially the Asgardian like people, where they give like, I don't think at the time they were thinking like, oh, gender fluidity and shit like that. I think they were just like, fuck it, female Thor, let's see if we can get some women to read this shit. Like
there was no rhyme or reason as to why.
Yeah, I don't think it was like because there's a lot of like Marvel shit that has like a purpose behind it and like a reason that they did it, but I don't think this one was one of them. At least
there had to be.
I haven't heard. Well, I do think it was like, how can we get more like there? I think they honestly were trying to just expand
demographics,
yeah, without also.
But I think
one of their biggest characters. Like they weren't about to take, but they did eventually do an alternate timeline with a female Thor Spider-Man.
Is relatively new though, no? And it's in the last like decade.
Thor, like,
because I remember that.
I thought female Thor debuted in the 80s or 90s, maybe even the 70s.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe
I might be wrong too. I feel like it's an older one though. Like I think they did one-off comics with female Thor before they started doing like whole series with her.
Maybe that's what I'm getting confused about the girlfriend, because I remember in the last, like, at least after the Avengers had started and Thor had been out.
Isn't
like
the girlfriend like fucking Natalie Portman?
There you go. That's why I was like, she's a little older.
No, it's not going to
Natalie Portman's gonna play Thor. Oh,
no, Jess,
like, what the fuck?
No, she plays.
She's
Thor's
fantastic. I gotta tell you, she's fucking incredible.
Yeah, but I think she's like in and out. Like I don't know if she doesn't want to do it. She wants to do it, or no, she's done right after the last. Or they said she was done, but then she had like a cam. I don't fucking know. Anyway,
so
I know. I mean, I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but I know I just recently read who is going to be female Thor, and
I'm gonna
type
in Portman. Lady Thor.
Yeah, that will work.
Jane Foster? No.
What? What?
Oh, that's her regular name. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because she exists in the comics. So type in Lady Thor MCU.
It says Natalie Portman confirms Mighty Thor basis for third.
It says
Thor
Natalie Portman to play female Thor in Love and Thunder, which is what we're coming out. Yeah, so
I gotta tell you, I'm a fan of that. I like Natalie Portman a lot. I'm a fan of that.
And obviously, I'm not saying anything about her age, but
The Simpsons has a female Thor before the MCU. Fuck the Simpsons at this point, dude. That shit is like sorcery. There's no way.
Well, they've just been on for fucking ever.
Since we brought up Robert Downey Jr.
his dad just passed away.
Yeah.
Or
she's 40. Holy shit. I hope I look like that when I'm 40. What the fuck?
I hope I look like that now.
Well, I mean, it's easy to look like that when you've had fucking bank since you were a teenager.
Oh,
yeah, but she's like, so
but
like
she didn't have work done. Did
I
she?
was gonna say she doesn't look like, even if she did.
No, I don't think she's had work done. I just think that like if you
She's
have a
been
lot of money,
they have access to like different skincare stuff and like
Sound of use.
Yeah.
Blood of children.
Because she definitely doesn't look like a Jennifer Aniston or like a
research
Mila
Kunis.
She's like,
we're gonna become a QAnon podcast.
Oh my god, we should. We should, just for the views. Just
for the views.
Okay, so
and as long as we say "just for the views" in quotes, the QAnon people won't even fucking question it. They'll be like, "Oh, they're doing that so they don't get fucking shadow banned off YouTube."
Mm-hmm, exactly. They'll stick up for us.
Did they ever let us know what the Nexus events were for the Lokis? I know, like the whole episode was dedicated to Nexus event. Like, what happened to the girl? To girl Loki?
Not directly.
She asked the security guard in the elevator, right? She's like,
no, she asked. That's
She's like, "What do you remember me from?" And she's like, "I don't know." Or some shit like that.
Because that's that's the person that arrested her originally as a child. But they kind of do, but they don't like directly say about like hers in particular, about Sylvie's in particular. So they basically say like we get picked up the moment that we try to like, because they make a big point about Loki's in general being like deceptive, alone forever, untrust, like all these things. And basically what older Loki I think says something about, or classic Loki they call him, says something about like they always show up the instant that we try to be better. So like basically the Nexus events are like when they are generated from them trying to not be so fucking self-indulgent, untrustworthy fucking people. Because like classic Loki says in the episode, like the reason he's older is like he managed to avoid being killed by Thanos by like projecting a super convincing illusion of himself hiding out in debris, and he floated away just with the debris in space and spent years, decades probably by himself.
Convenient. I don't know. I feel like it's a little too convenient. Like that explanation as to how he survived.
Well, they make a point of when Hiddleston Loki talks, he's like, because he asks like, how'd you live so long? Like, did you not try to stab Thanos? And he makes a point of saying that like the weapons and shit are more of a hindrance than they are like actual good for Loki's, I guess.
I see.
And they, at the end of the episode, they like he sacrificed himself in like this huge show of like his ability, basically, of like casting illusions and shit. But like, yeah, he just did a brilliant one. He even says like, fooled even Thanos. I hid out in the debris. But he also states like, I grew old because I was alone the entire time. And the reason that the TVA picked me up was the moment that I decided that I missed my brother, so Thor, and decided I'm going to leave this isolated planet and try and find him. And that was the moment that the TVA showed up.
But why do they mention how old he? Like, does he?
He's older. He's an older actor, so there is like a native in the sacred timeline. Loki gets
doesn't age.
Killed by Thanos. Yeah,
Okay.
he dies. And so like there is a question like, how did you get fucking old? Like,
Right. I see. So they're basically just
if they're
explaining
protecting
something.
this timeline,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you
yeah.
shouldn't have aged beyond like this kind of point.
Okay.
And he kind of points out the things like they actually didn't give a shit that I survived that.
Yeah.
They only started giving a shit when I started missing my brother and made an effort to go reach out in a friendly manner.
Did Chris Hemsworth make any sort of a cameo in this last episode?
No.
Okay.
Hell no, he's too busy.
I mean, you would think Tom Hiddleston was too busy too, and fucking doing this
Not
whole
really.
last
Yeah,
show.
Tom Hiddleston is too busy for the show they're paying him to be on.
Well, you know
That
well,
stars him
I'm saying-
and his character.
They could have paid Chris Hemsworth.
Wait. Name one thing you know Tom Hiddleston for besides being Loki.
I got nothing.
Here's the thing that's not fair. I couldn't give you a thing that I know Chris Hemsworth for besides
Cabin
Thor.
Fever.
But he's
He was in
also
Cabin-
sexy
No.
as hell.
No, he was in not Cabin Fever. He was in the Sam Raimi. I think it was Sam Raimi.
Snow White and the Huntsman.
No.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, that classic
And
movie.
he was also in
box
Star-
office success.
He was
Cabin,
also in
Cabin in the
Star
Woods. Cabin in the
Trek.
Woods. Cabin.
He made
what?
a cameo in Jay and Silent
Nobody-
Jess, I can
Bob.
see your eyes. You've loaded the IMDb.
I did, yeah, I did.
Nobody knows him from. Nobody knows him from.
No, but they know him for being hot. Tom Hiddleston's not
They know him
hot.
for being hot because
Tom
he
Hiddleston
was in
is a very
Thor.
attractive man.
He was in Cabin in the Woods, Eric.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
Anyway,
Did you say Tom Hiddleston's attractive? Fuck off.
Yeah, he's a
No,
good looking
he's
dude.
not.
Did
He
you not
looks
see the
like-
video where
He
he's
looks
dancing
like
with all
attractive
the?
Squidward.
They took an outtake.
he doesn't have the nose of attractive Squidward. But also, at this point, we know that Jess likes fucking thick dudes.
Why? Who
do
was
you
the
mean
other?
thick?
Who was the other? No, she likes what's
Oh,
his
because
name?
Channing
I said-
Tatum,
Oh yeah.
fucking Chris
Yeah, but-
Hemsworth.
I don't like all thick dudes. I have a very eclectic.
It's just the
taste.
ones that you've mentioned on the podcast. So
Well, she also mentioned what's his name? Timothy Chalamet. He's nothing. He's not a thick knit boy at all.
I like Dylan O'Brien too, and he's not a thick boy either.
I don't know who
I
Dylan
have
O'Brien
absolutely
is.
no
off the
idea
top
who
of my head.
Dylan O'Brien is. But to
You
wrap
probably
up,
wouldn't know who he was. He was in
to
the
wrap
Maze
up this
Runner.
Loki episode.
Oh yeah, Maze Runner. Well, that is the end of the Loki episode.
Maze
Cool.
Runner?
So what are they? What
Hiddleston,
are,
Loki, and Sylvie succeed, and they're venturing into this setting, which is probably going to reveal the next. If it is
final episode?
Kong, it is the final episode. At least in my mind, I think I read that they only had 2 episodes left. The episode previous to this one.
So 6 episodes altogether. It's kind of wild.
Well, I mean, I think they are just doing the amount of episodes they need to set shit up.
But what's after this? Normally, it's like okay, finale, and then the next show is the week after. 'Cause that's what they did for.
But I think this is they're finally setting this. The reason they did this sequence was they're setting up movies now.
So Black Widow, or does Black Widow even count?
I think Black Widow is actually honestly standalone.
Yeah, 'cause-
I think they were just like, we have to give Scarlett Johansson her own movie. And maybe it sets up. I think Black Widow probably sets up her successor in the MCU, similarly to how I think Loki is setting up his successor right now.
Mhm.
I
That's
think it is
interesting.
also Scarlett Johansson setting up hers. But yeah, I think we also get a major villain reveal where it's Kang the Conqueror, I believe. Because a lot of this shit is plot lines that he is typically involved in. So, I mean, we'll see.
Do you think they kill Loki in the series, or do you think they kill him in the Thor film?
In the Thor film, I think he's already dead. So,
Well, I meant the upcoming one, Love and Thunder.
yeah, it takes place after Avengers Endgame, right?
Yes.
So isn't he already dead?
And Loki's alive in the show that we're in, which is
The whole point
directly
is he's
after-
a timeline. The whole point is he's a timeline variant, and that's not the timeline that the Avengers were on for that point.
I see. Okay, so he's in a different timeline altogether.
Yeah, so the reason that he was picked up is because he was supposed to go to the jail cell that was in Thor 2, whatever that one was called, the one that wasn't Ragnarok. And all that shit didn't happen because someone dropped the Tesseract and he escaped.
I see. So is this happening simultaneously with Endgame, or is this just...
This is happening outside of Endgame, and I think it's revealing the villain that is coming after Thanos. Because the villain that's coming after Thanos, I suspect, Kang the Conqueror, being, and someone's gonna probably be like, you're pronouncing it wrong, it's Kang or some shit. I don't know, I've only ever read it, so how I pronounce it. But anyway, I think it's revealing that guy. He deals with a lot of like time things because he's trying to he's unlike Thanos, who's just trying to solve some weird resources problem through genocide. Kong is trying to rule the universe in every time frame.
So, but if
he's trying to be a universal ruler across all space and time.
But if Thanos is already dead, then what would be Kong's goal? Like, is he just
rule
pissed?
The universe over all space and time?
Okay, great, wonderful.
He's a conqueror. I'm saying him and Thanos's views are.
I thought you were saying like
not...
he's going after Thanos, but like
no. I was contrasting them.
I see.
They're different. Thanos thought he was. I mean, I'm certain they're going to do some gray area shit with this one too, just not as successfully, because Thanos at least thought that he was doing good. Mm-hmm. And it was like it's some altruism that didn't really straight up benefit him, besides the idea of like, I did it, I saved the universe from exercising all of its fucking resources.
Well, Kong just wants to fuck shit up.
Yeah. He doesn't want to fuck shit up. He wants to rule everything. He wants to be God.
I want to be God.
Don't we all?
Hold for Everything podcast.